Paranormal activity, active with the actions in my brain. Actively I'm tracking apparitions in my veins. Check my swing, ghost writers, I'm a lefty. Y'all brag about your flow, I'm ghost riding on a jet ski. Don't test me, switch it up, Mickey Mantle in his prime. In the Bronx, dropping bomb after bomb like a B-29 on a Nagasaki dome. No tattoos, I bear arms, spill your sake on these balls. The ARs like Tawagachi, hips track Kawasaki. Spin your wheel, that's Yamasaki, do the math, I'm Fibonacci. Use zeros, I'm the one. One trigger, 2 bullets, 3 millimeters, 5 bullies lay dead. That means 2, I snap with a strap. That's no cap. Whoever sees this and subscribes right now will get a free bag of Reese's Pieces. Unfortunately, we're out of M&M's. What's going on, YouTube? It's Knox Hill, and we're back with our reaction series. So today, man, today's a big day. It's a big day because it's Thursday, Mother's Day. You guys know that we got more Eminem on deck. Now listen, I've also been doing a series throughout called Throwback Thursday where we go back in time, and I thought, you know what, this would be a perfect time to combine the two. I've been getting huge requests for this one. You guys want to see me break down one of the most iconic tracks, not just in Eminem's history, but in hip-hop history. I'm talking about Eminem, I'm talking about Jay-Z, and I'm talking about Renegade. But before we go any further, guys, I'm going to give a quick shout-out to the song in the intro, if you guys like that. Yes, I'm a rapper myself. There's a good chance you like my breakdowns, the way I think about music. You'll probably like my music as well. I have an album, Chaos Theory, at 20 tracks, blood, sweat, and tears, heart, and soul. If you want to support me and support the channel directly, I'll put that link below. Also, pay attention. Pay attention, eyes to the sky, people, because on Saturday, I have a huge music video dropping. We are about to start a brand new chapter in the history of Knox Hill. But anyways, we know what we're here for. Eminem, Jay-Z, step up to the plate. Let's go.
What you about to witness, New York City, Detroit, history. Put your hands together. Yeah.
One of the greatest drop-ins in hip-hop history. Just so iconic. The second that sample comes on, and then you just hear those strings, and then it just breathes for a second, and you don't know when Jay is just gonna drop in. But when that percussion hits and that snare starts rolling, I still get chills, man.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers. Do you fools listen to music or do you just skim through it? I love how he's coming with the vowel sequence there, the condensed scheme, ooh, ooh, ooh. But just where he pauses, it's a little bit of a sort of unorthodox, slower J flow, man, that he's really starting to explore on this album, The Blueprint. Because when Jay first started, man, I mean, he had a lot of sort of the faster lyrical schemes, more spitter. And yeah, as time went on, and the more music that he dropped and the more that he was in the mainstream eyes, the more he started just to slow down and really craft and hone in to this sort of slower flow in pocket, man. It's just so smooth. You think I only talk about jewels? Because at this time, you know, like Big Pimpin', Spending Cheese. I mean, Jay-Z has so many hit radio songs, and it's like, well, yeah, all he does is just brag about, you know, wealth and money, and he's a shallow rapper. He doesn't dive deeper. But when you look at his discography and you look at some of the deeper songs, man, that he talks on, there's just so much more there. And I love how here on Renegade he takes advantage of this as an opportunity to address that. Are you guys actually listening, or are you just listening for what you need to make your point and to criticize me? See, I'm influenced from the streets. I'm influenced from a different side of things, because a lot of the critics at this time in the hip-hop industry, they weren't from the streets. You know, they were dudes in ties and suits and dudes paid by labels and by media outlets to review music. They didn't come from the struggle. So I love how Jay is just spinning this one. I give you the news with a twist, is just his ghetto point of view. The renegade, you been afraid, I penetrate pop culture, bring my life closer. The renegade, you been afraid, I penetrate. Here again, I just love, it's slower, but man, he's punching in with these schemes. And what's it called? I can't remember the
the poetic device. But what I really like about Jay's verse too is that it feels like a stream of conscious almost. Like you don't know when sort of one sentence ends and the next one starts. Like he delivers bars and sort of the punchlines and the rhyme schemes like halfway through his lines, and then he carries it over and carries it over, and it just keeps going on. Just the way that this is, man, it's just a very unique approach. And obviously we'll talk about M's approach and how he shines with his rhyme schemes, but I feel like Jay just doesn't get enough credit for, what he's doing. I mean, he's MCing this one. He is absolutely MCing this track.
Just his ghetto point of view. The renegade, you've been afraid. I penetrate pop culture, bring him a lot closer to the block.
I penetrate pop culture, bring him a lot closer to the block. I bring him to my side where I came from. I've breaking through the mainstream. I've breaking through pop culture. Think about the poetic way and the way that he paints his picture to describe his effect on the music industry and what he's had.
You've been afraid. I penetrate pop culture, bring them a lot closer to the block when they pop toasters and they live with their moms. Got dropped roasters, watch robberies, yeah, they crotched over. Mommy's knocked up cause she was
got drop roadsters. So when you ride around like in a drop top, I feel like it's not used as much today when you refer to a roadster, like rolling around in a two-seater, like convertible drop top, right? So he's saying from botched robberies. Not successful robberies. I think that's important because Jay is pointing out the darker side to things. You see the shine. You see the bling that we brag about. You see like the cars and the luxury. But the reason that we flash these things is because of where we're from, because of what we don't have. And you talk about botched robberies where some don't make it. Some don't make it to the other side. So with every light, there was a darker underneath side to it all.
got dropped roasters, watch robberies, yeah, they crotched over. Mommy's knocked up cause she wasn't watched over. Knocked down by some clown when child support knocked.
Mommy's knocked up because she wasn't watched over, knocked down. I love how he takes like the knocked up, like getting pregnant, not being watched over because she didn't have parental guidance figures. She didn't have people looking out for her. You have a lot of these situations of these family units and these kids being raised that don't have either a father or don't have a mother, or sometimes they don't have both. They have to fend for themselves, and it's like almost like survival of the fittest, especially where Jay was from, man. Especially where he's from in the BK. I mean, and that was just what birthed hip-hop, was these inner city communities full of crime, full of struggle, full of pain, drug dealing, so many things. And these are the conditions that Jay was living in, that he arose out of. And all he is just talking about his life and talking about the things that he saw and putting it into perspective through the poetry of rap. And yet you still want to criticize him. And yet you still feel like you can judge him and his music.
Mommy's knocked up cause she wasn't watched over. Knocked down by some clown when child support not. No, he's not around. Now how that sound to you? Jot it down. I bring you through the ghetto without riding around, hiding down, ducking straight. Frustrated you stuck in their ways. Just
ducking strays from frustrated youth stuck in their ways. Again, man, I mean, it's poetic. It is poetic, the pictures that he's painting right now and just the conditions that he's describing.
Ghetto without riding around, hiding down, ducking straight. Frustrated you stuck in their ways. Just read a magazine and roll my days. Great music that dumps with nothing
Relate to it.
I help them see they way through it.
Not you.
Can't walk in my pants, can't step in my shoes. Bet anything you lose your tie in your shirt.
Everything you're worth, you lose your tie in your shirt. How can you critique this? I didn't make this music for you. So I'm sorry if you can't relate to it. And again, this is fired at the critics. And he's saying, you come around my block, you're going to lose that tie in that shirt. But also, let's lose the tie in the shirt. Let's lose that and get real. Let's get raw with the things that I'm talking about and the music that I'm making. I mean, why? Why is everyone always like, man, M Wash Jay? I mean, Jay just approached this track from a completely different perspective, right? Jay, what do I want to say? Jay was like the street poet, and he was just taking advantage of this verse and then the next verse just to talk about sort of his climb and his struggle and relate the critique and the hate and his status in the industry to where he came from, why he did this, and the music that he makes and who he truly makes it for and who he truly represents and gives a voice to. I mean, I think it's a beautiful verse from Jay, honestly. And this is just one of the greatest albums of all time, The Blueprint.
The dumps with nothing relate to it. I help them see they way through it, not you. Can't walk in my pants, can't step in my shoes. Bet anything you lose
Here we go.
your tie in your shirt.
I'm in a position to talk to these kids and they listen. I ain't no politician, but I'll kick it with them a minute. You see, they call me a menace. And if the shoe fits, I'll wear it. But if it don't, then y'all swallow the truth, grin and bear it. Now who's the
Shoe fits, I wear it. Truth, grin, and bear it. I mean, that's a crazy multi-syllable scheme. And he's going to carry out like 4-syllable, 5-syllable, sometimes 6-syllable schemes. And what gets me is that this end scheme, truth fits, I wear it. Hang on. I'm losing my brain. He's already breaking my brain.
And if the shoe fits, I'll wear it. But if it don't, then y'all swallow the truth, grin and bear it. Now who's the king of these rude, ludicrous, lucrative lyrics?
Lucrative lyrics.
Who could inherit the title? Put the youth in hysterics.
Youth in hysterics. See what he's doing? How crazy is that? And what's beautiful too is that he's got those end rhymes, the 5-syllable schemes, right? And in between, he's just punching these different ooh, ooh, ooh vowel sounds. And then he's got an O scheme where he starts punching the O, O, O vowel sounds. So not only does he have these crazy sort of internal vowel schemes that he's hitting, but on the end of it, he's got just complex multi-syllable end rhymes as well. I mean, this is another level, people.
If the shoe fits, I'll wear it. But if it don't, then y'all swallow the truth, grin and bear it. Now who's the king of these rude, ludicrous, lucrative lyrics?
Rude, ludicrous, lucrative. Hear the ooh, ooh, ooh right there, punching it while still not losing that N5 scheme.
Who could inherit the title? Put the youth in hysterics.
Fucking crazy.
Sharing his views and his merits. But
There's a huge interference. They're saying you shouldn't hear it. I mean, fuck. What's beautiful about this is not only having that complex ass rhyme scheme, but at the same time, just like Jay spoke on his platform, M is now talking on his platform. And he's talking about how he's viewed. And he's taking sort of Jay's approach as well. You know, how the media views Eminem. And how all the critics and how these parents view Eminem. And they're saying you shouldn't hear it. I mean, he's spoiling the minds of the youth. He's polluting the next generation. And he's just so unapologetic with it. And I think what gets it too is just his charisma with the delivery, just his personality on this verse, man. I mean, he just pulls you in and you're just like, yeah, this motherfucker's pissing people off, but I like it. I'm gonna ride with him. Huge interference, you shouldn't hear it. I mean, right there, it's just all the way through. How does he do this? It's so good. Maybe it's food for the spirit. Maybe it's beautiful music. I mean, go listen to songs like Sing for the Moment. Go listen to songs like Lose Yourself. Listen to some of those deeper songs. I mean, he does nourish the soul when he wants to get in that bag. And remember, at this time, when M first came out, it was the crossover. It was all of a sudden middle America was now introduced to hip hop. And was Eminem the first rapper to talk about shocking, controversial shit? No. But he was the first rapper to a lot of those people. That was their first time hearing it. And it was wow. I mean, even the government tried to cancel him. You know, he went at Vice President Cheney. He had politicians trying to censor him. He had people, you know, picketing and protesting and wanting to shut his ass down, canceling him before cancel culture even existed, all because of how he expressed himself through his art. So I love how he just takes all those complexities and he puts it back into the form of poetry. And it's like, there's so much more to me in what I'm doing, yet you just want to label me because it's convenient for you to blame me for your problems.
Maybe it's food for the spirit. Maybe it's beautiful music I made for you to just cherish. But I'm debated, disputed, hated, and viewed in America as a
I just love these internal schemes too, man.
made for you to just cherish. But I'm debated,
Made for you to just cherish, debated. Now he's going off of the A. Hear how he just keeps switching up the different vowel sounds in between. So he's got just these punchy vowel sounds in between, still the 5-syllable schemes.
Maybe it's food for the spirit. Maybe it's beautiful music I made for you to just cherish. But I'm debated, disputed, hated, and viewed in America.
But I'm debated, disputed, hated, and viewed in America. So silky smooth.
It's beautiful music I made for you to just cherish. But I'm debated, disputed, hated, and viewed in America as a drunk ass. You didn't experiment, nah. That's when you start to stare at who's in the mirror and see yourself.
Every time I get up to try to leave, whoa, I don't want to, but I gotta stay. These drugs really got a hold of me. Man, I botched that one. But yeah, I mean, Eminem had so many songs where he talked about his drug addiction, being on shrooms, painkillers, just different things, all the drugs that he's experimented with. And it's like now you label him in that box because he talked about it through his music because he was just being honest. But is that everything? Is that what defines him? Is that the rapper that is Eminem? No.
You didn't experiment, That's when you start to stare at who's in the mirror and see yourself as a kid again, and you get embarrassed. And I got nothing to do but make you look stupid as parents. You freaking do good. It's too bad you couldn't do good at marriage. And do you have any clue what I had to do to get here?
Too bad you couldn't do good in marriage. I mean, do-gooders do good at marriage. I just love how he flips and bends those words around. And again, M is going, your kids are listening to me, but maybe there's a reason why they're listening to me. Maybe there's turmoil in the household and they don't know how to express themselves, and they turn to me to deal with that conflict. They turn to me because I give them that voice that they didn't feel like that they had before. It's just, man, and the way that he puts it, it's so fucking unapologetic. It really is.
Do good is too bad you couldn't do good at marriage. And do you have any clue what I had to do to get here? I don't think you do, so stay tuned and keep your ears glued to the stereo.
Because here we go. I love that because it's like shouting out, hi, my name is, right? Chicka chicka Slim Shady. But in this way, he's changed it to Jigga Jigga. You got a little bit of Jigga shouting out Jay-Z on it as well. I'm the sinister, Mr. Kiss My Ass. And yeah, let's tell the story now about Renegade. So the thing is, I know you've got the famous Nas Jay-Z beef and the Nas line, right? Where, Eminem killed you on your own shit, that he said in Ether. But the thing is, Renegade was not actually Jay-Z's. Renegade was Eminem's and Royce the 5'9's. And the thing is, Royce was signed to Columbia at the time. So Columbia said that Royce could only release one song. He couldn't release two features with Eminem since they weren't on the same label. So it was, what was the other? I can't remember the other track, but it was that or Renegade basically. So Royce decided to shelf Renegade with Eminem. So after it got shelved, M knew that Renegade wasn't going to get released. So then he asked Royce if he could give it to Jay. So M gave the song to Jay-Z, not the other way around. Even though it's on Jay-Z's Blueprint album, Jay-Z didn't come up with it and didn't produce it, right? That was M. That was on M's side. So Jay got M's verse. So if people want to say, oh, M washed Jay and whatsoever, and, it wasn't right of M to do that. No. M gave it to Jay. Jay had Eminem's playbook. Jay had the blueprint of what Eminem was going to do and then decided to do his verses in his way and release it. So yeah, I just always find that story interesting because there's so much more to Renegade than what people appreciate. So anyways, in that last line there that he changed to chicka chicka jigga was originally shouting out Royce the 5'9". So that's the only line that he changed from the original.
Anything. Never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time of day. 'Cause I'm a renegade. Never been afraid to holler about anything. I had the
just such an iconic hook, man. I mean, I love hooks that are catchy. That is catchy. You'll walk around after hearing this go, Renegade. And also says so much in the hook. It just makes a statement. And to me, it captures a generation at that time. It captures the angst that was happening in America, the movement that was happening, rap breaking through into the mainstream, crossing into new audiences, the turmoil, the conflict, and this song right here is just a build-up and a result of all that. I'm a renegade, Never been afraid to just speak on the things that I know, to talk about where I'm from, my existence, and, the shit that I see on a daily basis. And to a lot of people, they got upset by that. And it really did. Wow. Yeah. This song, man.
Anything. I had to hustle my back to the wall, ashy knuckles, pockets filled with a lot of lint, not a cent,
Pockets filled with a lot of lint, not a cent. And this is him talking about why he turned to drug dealing. Because, he didn't have anything. I mean, you have to survive at that time. So why, they get critiqued in the media, rappers, for glorifying crime, especially at this time, and talking about crime and the things that they did, like drug dealing. But from Jay's perspective, it was that or not put food on the table for the family. So, which out are you going to take in that situation? And I love the back to the wall, ashy knuckles, like white knuckling. The statement when you white knuckle, like you go at it alone, like dealing with sobriety, alcoholism, you white knuckle it. So he's white knuckling life basically. He's got ashy knuckles also because his back is always to the wall. The odds are always against him. So, you know, it's so back against the wall that it's rubbing up on his knuckles as well. Also, like ashy knuckles, like always being out like in the streets, you know, knuckles turning ashy like in the wintertime. Just so many good lines and bars and poetry to what Jay's doing.
Back to the wall, ashy knuckles, pockets filled with not a cent, not a thing. Lot of innocent laws lost on the project, bitch. What you hollering? Gotta pay rent, bring dollars in. Bottle of bodega, iron under my coat, feeling braver. Do rag, wrapping my waves up, pockets full of hope. Do not step to me, I'm awkward.
My pocket's full of hope. He's got the iron. The iron makes him braver because he's carrying a weapon now by the bodega. You know, like the little mini convenience stores. You find a lot of those in NYC. That's for sure. But I love how he's talking about pocket full of hope. And in this case, he's got drugs in there, right? So maybe it's a pocket full of hope for a fiend because that gives them that release. But also for him, that has a monetary value to it. Hope. Maybe I can get out of my situation that he's walking around with.
Cold feeling braver, do rag, wrapping my waves up, pockets full of hope. Do not step to me, I'm awkward. I box lefty, I'm awkward. My pops left me, I'm awkward.
I box lefty, I'm awkward. He's coming with that southpaw flow, baby. And then his pops left him an orphan. And I can't. His pops wasn't dead at the time, was it? No, he wasn't. Not at this point in time. But basically, he was orphaned because he was abandoned by his father. I mean, that's a harsh line right there.
My pops left me, my mama wasn't home. Could not stress me, I wasn't grown. Dressy on nights, I brought something home. The quiet stomach rumblings. My demeanor, 30 years, my
especially on nights I brought something home to quiet the stomach rumblings, right? So nobody was saying anything in my family. Moms wasn't saying anything because, yeah, most of my family wasn't there. I didn't have parents to take care of me, and I had to put food on the table. So it didn't matter the lifestyle that I led, dealing drugs to put that food on the table, as long as there was food on the table so we all could eat.
30 years, my senior, my childhood didn't mean much. Only raising greener, raising my fingers.
Another hard line too. 30 years my senior, having to act 30 years older than myself. You know, having to grow up way too quickly in these streets. My childhood didn't mean much. I didn't have one. Only raising green up. Get it? Green is in weed, raising that up, but also green because he's green like when you're young. You know, green behind the ears coming up. Green also is in money, trying to make money to pay, to survive. Nah, I love that line. There's so many good lines, man. We can't hate Jay for this. We can't hate Jay for this. I'm not having it. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this breakdown. But shout out to Notorious. You know, I did it multi before I die. I made it multi-platinum like I always told you I would get to that point. Shouting out and paying homage to Notorious B.I.G. Rest in peace.
Raising my head to the sky. Big, we did it multi before I died. No lie, just know I chose my own fate. I drove by the fork in the road and went straight. See, I'm a poet.
One of the hardest, most memorable lines that I still quote to this day. I drove by the fork in the road and I went straight. Could have gone left, I could have gone right. Nah, fuck it, I went straight. I took fate into my own hands. Fate was trying to tell me I can go this way or that way, and I said, nah, I'm going straight. And it just, that is the encapsulation of the Renegade to me, the epitome of it, man. What a great bar. And then it has another layer to it because this whole time he's talking about the drug dealing to get by, right? So in this case, you could have nothing. You could be poor, you could not feed your family, or you could go and deal drugs and go pursue a life of crime, which could end badly for you. So it's this road or this road to try to get by. And what he did was he found a different way out. He literally went straight. He walked away from that life of crime. He walked away from that drug dealing and pursued rap and used rap as his way to get out. So he literally turned straight. So dope.
Just know I chose my own fate. I drove by the fork in the road and went straight. See, I'm a poet, this I'm a regular modern day Shakespeare. Jesus Christ, the king of these latter-day saints here.
Modern day Shakespeare. Latter-day Saints here. See, again, he's just not letting up on the pedal with this 5-syllable scheme. I hope we all appreciate how hard this is to write.
Regular modern day Shakespeare. Jesus Christ, the king of these latter-day saints here. To shatter the picture in which that is they paint me as a monger of fate. Satan is
shatter the picture. That what they paint me as. Adder. See how he's hitting the ah sounds now? So yet again, while still having this end scheme of 5 syllables, he starts just picking different sounds to punch in between it while still painting his story, man. Monger of hate, Satan, the scatterbrained atheist, which is ironic because if he's an atheist, he doesn't believe in God, therefore he doesn't believe in Satan. But he is scatterbrained. This is how he's relating it, like the shady mind, right? Kind of taking that critique and owning it, saying that he's scatterbrained. You know, he jumps from here to here to there to there, so it would make sense that he's a scatterbrained atheist. Is he the ladder, a gateway to escape? Media scapegoat. I just love how he bends those words. But is his music actually a ladder? Is it an outlet? We talk about music being escapism, getting out of your situation, you know, even getting out of the prisons of your own mind. Is he that ladder, or is he just a media scapegoat? You know, is it just convenient for people to just place their problems on him? Bad as they say, he is the ladder, a gateway to escape, media scapegoat. They can be mad at today. See, it's as easy as cake, simple as whistling dicks. While I'm waving the pistol, 60 Christians against. Simple as whistling Dixie. I just love the lines. Again, the charisma, man. And then he's got the ad-lib of whistling behind it. And Dixie was a song of the Confederacy when the Confederacy thought that, you know, they were going to break free. And, you know, that saying whistling Dixie has now become like sort of pursuing a pipe dream, right? Pursuing something that's just fantasy. It's never going to happen. So he's playing off of that bit of fantasy, also whistling Dixie. And then it makes you think about the South. And then you start thinking about some of the more ultra conservatism in the South, especially in the Bible Belt, which was heavy going after Eminem at the time and the things that he was talking about. So when the Catholics, you know, baptizing someone, when they baptize them, they're like, we better hold this motherfucker down and drown his ass out. Love that line. Motherfuckers hate to like you. I mean, so true. Ice Cube at the time, man, people just, what was that song? Love to hate him, which is so true. Just, you know, they hate to like you. They hate to give you your props. It's much easier just to hate you because Ice Cube had so much controversy with them, and he was attacked by the media for, you know, his lyrics, and in a lot of the same ways that J&M were attacked. Making this butter off these blood suckers. It's a classic, man. It's an absolute classic. The thing I love about the hook, too, is when M goes, then J goes, and then they flip it. J goes, M goes. And I just love the chemistry that they have on the hook. And I wish that this wasn't the one and only song that, you know, M and J were on together. It would have been so dope to hear them on more. And significance of the time. Am I going to run out of time? No, I can get this in quickly. What this did was, you got to think about Eminem at the time and being labeled this controversial rapper and having all these shock raps and value. And I think by him getting on this song with Jay-Z, who was respected in the streets, who was respected within the hip-hop community, you know, Eminem doing what he did from an MC perspective with the multi-syllable schemes, the way that he handled this, it turned heads at the time. It really gave Eminem a new respect within the hip-hop community because it was like, wow, this man just got on the song with Jigga and destroyed it. It turned heads, man. It was game-changing because it was like, wow, M is more than just a gimmick. M is an MC. And yeah, I mean, this was a very defining song for Eminem and a hugely defining moment to be stood next to Jay-Z, a giant in hip-hop, and to do what he did. What a great song. Eminem, Jay-Z, you are Knox Hill certified. So hope you guys liked today's video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. My camera's going to die. I love you. Thank you so much. I'll catch you again.